Well, hello there. So today's video is part 3 of the 3-part video series about basically how to get the law of attraction to start working. The first 2 videos I will link down below in the description box for you. I think it'll definitely help if you watch all 3 videos and follow all of the suggestions in all 3 videos to get this baby to start working for you, right? So the first 2 videos were kind of like more practical stuff. The first video was, here's stuff that you can kind of cut out of your life. And then the second video was, here's stuff that you can start putting into your life. And they were all like actionable things, right, that you can do. Now, this video is going to be what most people think of when they think of the law of attraction. So this is going to be the energetic work that you are doing to make yourself start believing things differently. Remember, what you believe is what starts showing up out there. So if you really believe that you're going to manifest a bunch of money, you will. You fucking absolutely will. This really works, you guys. And I've been teaching this professionally to people for a while now. I even have a whole video course that you can purchase called Manifest Your Dream Life. It's good, man. It's one for the ages. So, I can tell you from firsthand experience, yeah, this definitely works, guys. The law of attraction is absolutely real. We live in a participatory universe. You are actually creating your reality with what you are being. Now, what's important to understand about what it is that's working is it's not really the conscious thoughts that are causing your reality, okay? It's the emotional, affective experience with an A, AFF, affective, right? It's the emotional, affective experience. It's your subconscious mind, which is mostly like emotional, the watery world of emotion, right? So what you are feeling subconsciously is what the universe matches. Now, what you are feeling subconsciously does percolate up into your conscious mind, right? And so that's why you start hearing thoughts of like lack and doubt and I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then at the same time, you also feel that way about it, right? So law of attraction, when you are using like mental techniques, what you are trying to do is like wag the dog. They call it wag the dog, right? Instead of the dog wagging its tail, it's like you grab the body of the dog and move the body around, and it kind of makes it look like the tail is moving, depending on your perspective, right? Wag the dog. And you can use your conscious mind to reprogram the subconscious mind. You can do that. So you're kind of working it backwards. And it's a process, guys. It takes time. You got to be really patient to do this, but you can have drastic changes in the short term just by doing some of the stuff that we already talked about in the first 2 videos. So go check those videos out. I'll link them down in the description for you. Watch all 3 videos. Now, these steps are going to be very practical today, very practical, like actionable things that you can do. I'm also going to link down below for you a special video that I did called the heart-brain coherence technique, right? So it was developed by the HeartMath Institute in Boulder Creek, California. I think everybody knows what, at least if you're watching, most people, they know what the HeartMath Institute is. And what you're trying to do is to get the wave state between your heart and your brain to be cohesive, to be coherent, because there's usually dissonance between those two, right? There are actually special cells, special type of cell in your heart I don't remember I can never remember what they're called. But that's okay. You could probably dig around on the HeartMath website and find what they are called. It's either a special kind of cell or like a neuron. Is it a cell or a neuron? I can't remember, but just remember there's 40,000 of them, right? If you're curious, you can go look into it. You'll find it. Greg Braden talks about it all the time. The HeartMath Institute, I believe they have something about it on their website. So, excuse me if I misspeak a little bit, but I'm getting the basics of it correct. There's 40,000 of these special cells in your heart and another 40,000 in your brain. And they talk. They communicate. And it's so new that people are just now starting to figure out what they're for. And, people at the HeartMath Institute are like, well, I could tell you exactly what that's for. You're a creator. You're a manifester, right? And heart-brain coherence is so key, guys. This is so critical because if there's dissonance between the waves in your heart and the brain waves in your brain, it's infinitely harder for you to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because again, that's what this is all about. We want to reprogram the subconscious, because when you reprogram the subconscious, the universe matches, right? So if you say right now you are lacking money, well, it's probably because you have some ideas about money that are playing into that. Like you think maybe money is hard to make, or when you take money, when you make money, you feel guilt. Like a lot of people, they feel like shameful about it, right? So for the example I always use is, we like money and we say we like money, but then let's say you go start a business and you get your first customer and you give them the product and they hand you the money. Most people at that moment, when the customer puts the money in your hand, most people report that they feel like a sense of awkwardness, like it's awkward taking the money. Like, should I be doing this? Like there's guilt or something. And that's telling you something, guys. That's telling you that you've got programming in your subconscious. It's body memory. It's body memory. That's where all that stuff is stored. You've got programming in your subconscious that's telling you that money is shameful and bad. And it's just part of the cultural conditioning that we've always had here on earth. Or, I'm never going to find a good relationship or whatever it is, right? You've got beliefs around that, like it's too hard to do that or something, right? So to reprogram that, the first thing is to get your heart and your brain to start talking, right? So again, I'll link below to you how to do the heart-brain coherence technique. And people like techniques, man. I like techniques when you can use them. Like meditation technically is not a technique, right? Technically, it's not. But this is a technique. And so that's easy for people, doing techniques. I'm a big fan of them. There are meditation techniques too, you could say. But what the meditation technique is trying to get you to do is to actually back your way out of having to use technique at all and just be. Because a technique is mental, and the idea of meditation is to get out of mental states, right? But this is where you're actually on purpose working with a mental state, right? It's the law of attraction. And again, in the last video, I stressed that a lot. You really gotta get on top of your meditation game. Right? 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. You must have a high enough level of consciousness to do this, because consciousness is the creative force. So meditation is really important. The Zen teachings, understanding that stuff, the power of now, right? That kind of thing. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. Because your mind is like the ship's rudder, like directing the flow of consciousness, okay? And all of that consciousness, you are directing it into your subconscious mind. And consciousness, when you direct it through the conscious mind, consciousness becomes a subconscious thought pattern. So it's actually like a converter. you could say, or a ship's rudder directing the flow of thoughts. So the heart-brain coherence technique, I recommend that you do that every day, at least once a day, in the morning or evening or whenever you can do it, right? Maybe like right after you do a nice meditation. That's what I do. Do a nice meditation and then do the heart-brain coherence technique. I'll put on like some nice music. I'll put on maybe some Enya, but like something really mellow, or some Ishq. I got a playlist on my YouTube channel here called Ishq, if you want to go check it out. It's like some really super mellow like music that's like good for meditating and good for doing this kind of technique too, right? And then there's also my Zen playlist. The first 10 or 12 songs on the Zen playlist, they're a little bit more lively. They might not be good for these techniques. So, start with the second half of the playlist and look around on the second half of the playlist. There's a lot more like mellow, kind of stuff that kind of it'll help set the mood. And the heart-brain coherence technique is asking you to work with your emotions. It's really interesting. Humans are one of the only animals on Earth, and I think the only other animal maybe is like whales and dolphins. That's pretty much it. You got whales, dolphins, and humans. That's it. Out of billions and billions and billions of animal species and insects, birds and snakes and rabbits and giraffes and dogs, and all of them, they respond to external stimuli. Their emotions are dictated by external stimuli, 100%. You, however, you actually have the ability to cause an emotion at will. That's not something any other species can do other than, like I said, maybe whales and dolphins, right? Out of billions. That's it. You got 3. That's it. And, you can literally sit on the couch and make yourself feel gratitude or happiness or something like that. So once so step 1, again, of this energetic work that you're doing is you're going to meditate, and then you're going to do the heart-brain coherence technique, and then just have a vision board, have some goals in mind, have something written down, and make kind of a little ceremony out of it. After you do the meditation and then the heart-brain coherence technique, then what I want you to do is generate emotional states that make you feel like you have already received the thing that you want. And again, I make a whole ceremony out of this every single day, you guys. Every morning, I get up, I meditate, and then I make some coffee, and I do the heart-brain coherence technique, and then I look through my journal. I write down like all kinds of like intuitive hits that I got. I got all kinds of intuitive visions that I write in there. Interesting synchronicities. I write down things that I want, and I've got like some pictures and things too of things that I want. And I'll even kind of make it fun. Sometimes I'll put incense. I usually do candles and, whatever. It's just kind of to set the mood. And I put on some inspiring music, and I'll switch it up too. I have a playlist. Music is really helpful for this because, again, the idea is to create emotional states, right? So I'll put on even sometimes, like, I've got a playlist where it's like all like happy music. Like it could be rock music, but it's like Steve Miller Band. Something like not too hard, right? But like kind of like, some good old-fashioned rock and roll, or some pop music that I like. There's a lot of modern pop music that it just has a certain feel to it. You know what I mean? And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm taking a vacation and I'm traveling the world, or, I'm stepping into that new big house and it's exciting. And, so I've got lots of different playlists that I use, and they're not public on my YouTube channel because they're my private playlists. But what I'm telling you is, make playlists. You can do that. Make playlists of songs that you like too. I have all kinds of them. And the 2 other playlists that I mentioned earlier, those are public on my YouTube channel. There's the Ishq, and then there's the Zen playlist. And so, and those are more like spiritual songs, right? And that's usually what I do. But sometimes, like I said, I'll do like some kind of like rock music or pop music or something, and I'll kind of mix it up. And you know, one of my favorite songs is by the Talking Heads. You know, the Talking Heads. There's two of them. There's one called oh God. Okay, it's called Nothing But Flowers. And then there's another one called Once in a Lifetime. Everybody knows that song, you know, and I don't know, I you know, kind of sets the mood. It just, it makes me think about like all the cool things I want to do. And, you know, so it's really easy to do this energy work, you guys. All you got to do is just kind of set an atmosphere and place yourself in these emotional states and keep doing that. So, and you do it in this order. Again, this is a technique, and people like techniques because they're easy to do, right? And it does work. It works really good. So step 1 is do your meditation. Step 2, do the heart-brain coherence technique. And then step 3, start creating emotional states around the things that you want. And again, create an environment, make it fun, create like an atmosphere. And most importantly, guys, most importantly, be consistent. Do it every day. Do it every day. Never stop. Never stop. Never stop. And also, you know, throughout the day, you can like pause for a minute and think about what you want and go, yeah, wow, that's going to be great, right? And then get this, if you do this long enough, and it takes longer than people think it should, you might have to do this for several months, guys, but after a while, you'll start getting intuitive hits. You'll start getting intuitive visions. You will. You will. It's crazy, you guys. It's awesome. But you got to do it for a long time, and you got to be really persistent because you're trying to reprogram like decades of conditioning that you're working against, and it can take forever, but get started today. This really works, you guys. I do it all the time. Welcome to your new life. My friends, thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week.